Hello, my dear friends. It's Andrea here with an update on the daily format for the updates for Bitcoin on Telegram. And I want to thank you all who accompany me in this journey. And yes, we want to make them more readable and more accurate. In general, in astrology, it is very difficult to make predictions from 1 hour to the other. I think we as astrologers would prove ourselves, and the whole reputation of astrologers and astrology would be really different if we would be capable to do this very well. It's one thing to predict the day and another thing to predict hourly, especially for financial predictions in a bear market, which I find much more difficult to predict than the bull market. It is quite interesting. During the day, the main planet that really changes, the flavor, so to speak, is the moon. The moon is also the most fickle planet, I would say. It's quite unpredictable, and its speed is also very different from one sign to the other, from one, constellation to the other, and if we go at the star level, it's even more. Now, planets move all the time. They move each minute, each second, and it's impossible with the human mind, to grasp everything. So in the daily update, my intention is to grasp the most important moves. And I would really give to you now in this new format only one flavor of red and one flavor of green that is a sort of meat. But I will put the intensity like it would be either 1 plus, 2 pluses or 3 pluses, and for the minus side the same convention. Minus, 2 minuses and 3 minuses in order to reflect the astrological intensity. Sometimes we see that these manifest, sometimes they don't. So the hour is exact. If you have the same, date of birth with minute level and even second that we do have for Bitcoin, thanks to the blockchain, then each astrologer would really agree that the aspects are there, at the hours mentioned. Of course, we have time zones and maybe little margins of errors. But in general, the aspects really happen at that moment in time. Now, do they really manifest? The thing is that if they happen, in a certain time span from each other, then they would influence each other. So imagine something like a painting where you do have various colors, and you start from the bottom, and then from the top you would put another color and another color and another color. They would really merge with each other. And this merging is what I included in the background. And we have 3 flavors of backgrounds, so to speak. We do have one which is red. It's light red. I use light because I want to have some contrast between the aspect itself, which still happens, and the interval, the manifestation on the interval that I believe it would be. Again, it will never be perfect, but it's an approximation that my wish should be that in time, to become much more accurate at it. And we do have also the red, the same thing, that we consider as a background. It's a, light red again. Now, in the light red and in the light green, you can see also green and red aspects, because the energy could be that, for example, yes, you have the color, from the previous painting that is already red, and then yes, you have a green aspect happening, and then this would be a short time span of green, so to speak, but the green and the red would merge. And then the decision would be what is more? Is it more green or more red? Now, the astrological intensity doesn't really reflect all the time in the ATR, the average true range. You saw that this is highly variable from one hour to the other. But what happens is that it tells a story about the intensity itself. At least it works with all other planets. Believe me, otherwise the financial calendar that you are used to at weekly and monthly level would not work at all if these rules would be obeyed. But with the moon, yes, it's trickier. I need to say that, and it's also work on my side to adapt it. And we do have, for example, a intense negative energy, but then it's not only about this ATR thing that everybody would expect. Oh my God, I see 3 of plus, so this should really go up. It's like also the influence in time. So a 3 of plus would really convey an influence in time of this positive energy of several hours before and after the aspect is exact. And now these several hours, how many are they? You know, is this really clean, this energy, or does it interfere with a red energy that comes after? So therefore, it will never be perfect. And in my opinion, right now in such markets with Uranus in Taurus, which is quite tricky to assess, I saw that it's so you need quite a very, very strong astrological aspect that is quite non-interfered by others at a certain time in order for it to manifest. Of course, I take notes each day and I try, to improve my accuracy. Now, I want to finish with an explanation on the background again. So it is, of course, always advisable to check the indicators. Don't blindly trust the astrology. Sometimes it works. We saw some days where it worked very, very nicely. But you would need to check the indicators, please, whatever you are used to. I check the ATR, for the targets. If I want to think from one hour to the other what targets I would like to use. Also, it seems that the preferred trend currently is this consolidation, which is hour-long and drives a lot of us crazy, I would say. So whenever you see blue, it's consolidation most likely, and this appears even when I thought it wouldn't. But I start, to see that it's sort of a default currently based on the planets. I think also about the position of Venus and Mars, especially the constellations currently, and this is a reason why this seems to prevail so much, at least according to my observations so far. And basically, blue means likely non-tradable. It would be maybe a consolidation of €300. It depends, of course, how much you have and what amounts you want to consider for your trades. But it's like, it's not so much money to be made. In other words, while green and red are much more tradable, so to speak, where one can expect more moves, especially if you already see a significant ATR for that hour. Now, I want to share also my observations. I saw these days since I published these daily updates, like 1,400 jump upwards, and I think 800 downwards. These were roughly the maximum in 1 hour. And a caveat in general, and from my experience, I am much better at predicting the upward strength. I think it's easier, and downward is more difficult. Yes, this video starts to be too long, but just a final remark is about the fire. The fire energy is unpredictable usually. It doesn't have to be an explosion, but sometimes it is. And we saw that on Monday when I think it was 24th of March. I don't remember exactly, but it was like I really missed that, which is never good. So this was my mistake. But In such cases, usually you do have very erratic energy. It could be upwards or downwards. I will mention that. You will see the aspect, and I will put a fire on it. This is the place where you have to trust my predictions the least. Yes, of course, you can look at the indicators and go from there at all times. Thank you so much again. I appreciate our journey together, and until next time, be joyful.